Alright guys, welcome back. So if you've seen one of my most recent videos, I did show you guys that I picked up a new pistol, the Sig M11-A1, and if you've seen that video, I also told you guys that I did order some new grips for it. So today what we're going to be doing is installing the new grips, but what I got is a set of these, the E2 grips. It's a one-piece grip to replace the standard grip panels that came on the M11-A1. Now with the kit, it does come with some parts that you have to change out, and I'm going to do my best to work around the tripod and get this stuff done. But you have to change out the hammer strut. You have to change out the seat, because as you can see, the seat that comes on it, this long plastic piece right here, is definitely different than the seat it comes with. You can see how small this one is. And then the hammer strut's a little different, and it does come with a new decocker, but if you have the new decocker style like this one already has, you don't have to change it out. This one is all black, where the one on the M11-A1 is that phosphate coated, so I'm probably just going to leave this one in since it kind of goes with the pistol. But if you don't have it, it does come with this as well. Now the only thing that you're going to need that this kit doesn't come with is if you have the older style that has the real long spring in it, you're going to have to order a new mainspring to get that swapped out. But if you have one of these newer styles, even though you got to change these pieces out, your mainspring or your hammer spring will still work. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into getting this done. Now I'm going to show you something after I get this done. If you watched the first video, I told you about this trigger pull being very, very heavy. The double action on this M11-A1, it actually was maxing out my Lyman gauge. So it is very, very heavy, and I did have this apart already, and I looked at the hammer strut, and it does have some imperfections on it, and definitely right around where it makes contact with the hammer as you're pulling it. So I do think that that is one main reason why I'm getting this heavy trigger pull. At least I think so. Not only did I want to try out these grips, but I definitely want to get this swapped out and see if it smooths up that double action pull. And once I get it out, I'll compare it to this one and show you guys what I'm talking about. But this is fairly easy to take apart. You just got, to be careful. You got to be pushing these pieces out, and you're going to have springs under pressure and things like that. So I'll do my best to get this in and out with, wrapping my arms around this tripod like this. But if I have to go off camera, I'll do it just for a second, and I'll show you guys exactly what I did. But let's just go ahead and jump into it. What you got to do is on this seat, if you can see under there, it's got that little slot. And what you can do is just use a screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, and use it for leverage to push this up and out. So all you do is put that in here like this and push this up and out. I hope this fits, but just push it up. Ooh, that's exactly what you don't want to do. That's a little bit too big. I'm going to have to grab a different one. Okay. I'll have to use this smaller one. Just push it up and out just like that. Okay. So as you can see, this piece is up and out. It was just in those little grooves right there. So just take this piece off, and then this strut will come out, and your spring will come off the strut just like this. Now I'm going to try to show you guys the best that I can this hammer strut. I don't know how well this is going to focus or if it's got good enough lighting. But if you can see that, this has like casting marks, almost like, I don't know how well you guys can see all that. I think you can, but this looks like maybe a MIM part. And it's got, where the mold was together, it's got a bunch of rough edges. And especially right here on these curved surfaces where the hammer comes in contact with it. Whereas this new one is nice and smooth and does not have any of those rough spots anywhere on it. So I'm hoping that'll take care of the, the rougher trigger pull and hopefully, get rid of some of that, along with getting these nice newer grips on there, which are a little bit slimmer and should help with that fatter grip if you got small hands like I do. So putting it back together, just put your spring on the new strut. Get the fuzz off of it, and then just slide this piece back up into the hole, and you'll want to make sure you put it all the way in the most top position that you can. Let's see if we can get that in there. Now you'll know you have it in the right spot like that if you can see that when you push up on it, the hammer goes forward towards the slide. If you have it in backwards, it'll actually push the hammer back like you're going to cock it. But if you push it up and the hammer is going forward, just like that towards the slide, you know you got it in the right spot. Now, you have to try to hold this in place. Then you'll put your new seat on. I don't know if I can do this with my hands or if I'll need to use the screwdriver, but we'll try to do this. I'll try to do this as best I can in front of the camera, but just, yeah, that's kind of tough. Okay. Make sure everything works. All right, so right after I got this back together and I went to decock it to see what happened, this spring actually came off, and if you can see how it goes on, right there is exactly how it goes if you run into that problem, because I did have to fish a piece back in from underneath and then put this spring back on. It was a little tricky, but I did get it. So if that does happen to you, that right there is exactly how it goes on. But anyhow, after you get all this stuff back in, just make sure you run a function test. Just make sure everything works. Make sure your double action, single action, make sure decocker works and everything like that. Then you're all put back together. So now you can set your old parts aside. And the next thing we're going to have to do is get this one-piece grip on. Now what you got to be careful of is you got your trigger return spring on this side and you got this spring on this side. So when you put this grip on, you want to kind of get it, make sure you get it over and kind of lift it up over these springs so you don't yank those springs off. So I'm going to start it on this side since this is where that spring is. I'll just kind of lift it up over these, kind of flare it out, and then it should just slide right into place eventually. But just kind of work it in. You got to go around all your controls just like this. And then once you get it around all this, you'll hear it snap into place. As you can see, it's starting to go on there. There we go. Starting to go in now. Make sure we're completely in. Make sure everything's worked. Okay, so there we have it. And I tell you, that does give a completely different feel to how this gun is. It's much, much thinner than the original ones. Just right off the bat, I can tell you that. Get a much tighter grip on it now. Now, if you have bigger hands, then this probably isn't that much of a big deal for you. But for me, with my tiny ass hands, this definitely gives me a better feel on the gun. And now this texture, if you can see that, that is a very, very aggressive feeling texture. Now it's not so aggressive that it's probably gonna hurt you or anything like that, like rub you raw, but it just feels like it sticks right in your hand. It really does. And I think it looks good on there too. I don't know, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think it looks better on there? I think it does. But anyhow, guys, there's how you install it, and just kind of my initial impressions, just feeling it. Feels very, very good. Feels like it's going to stick right in your hand, and that thing ain't going nowhere. Definitely thinner, more grip. Yeah, I think it's going to work out nice. So there you go, guys. Now it does come with this tool, and what this is for is if you ever want to take these off, as you can see, there's no screws or anything like that, like on the original grips. You take the slide off, push this up in here, and then there's cutouts on either side. You'll just put this in here and then twist this, and as you twist it, it'll pop these grips off. So make sure you keep this tool if you want to get these grips off, or at least get them off easily. But yeah, overall that was a pretty easy install, other than that spring coming off and losing those parts and not knowing exactly how they go back on there. But other than that, it was a very straightforward install. Oh, and I forgot about that. the trigger pull now. I tell you what, that is much, much smoother. It definitely does feel lighter, but it does, I don't know how much, but not a whole lot lighter. It might be around the 10, 11 mark instead of over 12. But that is much smoother than what it was. Now, I know it's kind of hard to explain to you guys what I'm feeling, but, when I first got this, I mean, that trigger pull, that double action pull was very, very hard, especially compared to the real nice trigger pull on this one. Now, I shot this one a little bit now, and, it's got some rounds through it. I measure this one, it's an average of 9 pounds, 4 ounces on the double action, and that's a very, very nice double action pull. Now, this one, much more improved. I mean, when I first got this and I, started feeling around on that double action pull, I was like, holy hell, that's not going to cut it. So I started researching and found out that hammer strut in there sometimes has some imperfections on it, and I really hope you guys can see that. How it's got those shitty parts on it. Definitely not smooth at all. I mean, you can feel it, you can see it. I mean, you can see it all down this thing. So definitely caused some issues on the smoothness on the trigger pull. But anyhow, guys, there you go. The E2 grips installed on the M11-A1. I definitely think it looks much better because it had these 228 grips on it, and as most everybody knows, this is not a 228. The M11-A1 is a 229. It takes a 229 mag. It's got a 229 barrel. So, it's definitely a 229, not a 228. So I don't mind getting rid of these and putting these on there. I think it looks great. It feels great. Much more ergonomic for my small hands. Sticks in your hand. It's going to be great. So the next time you see this, we're going to be out at the range putting some rounds through it. And if you see my first video on this, the farmers are out in the field right now, and they always park all their equipment by where I shoot, so it's hard for me to get out there and shoot right now. Otherwise, we'd already have a video with it running this thing, because I haven't put any rounds through this yet. So yeah, stay tuned for the shooting video with this. I've got some other videos coming. I got to get that Glock out that I put the Apex trigger in. We're going to get that out and put some rounds through it and all that. But anyhow, guys, before I sign off, I do want to remind you about the giveaway that I'm doing. For those of you that know, this is a reminder. For those of you that don't know or who are new to the channel, I am doing a Bravo Concealment holster giveaway to kind of kick off this new channel, because I did switch and combine channels. So to kick off this new channel, to get everything up and going, I am doing a Bravo Concealment holster giveaway. So the link will be down below to that video if you want to check it out and enter to win a holster. But anyhow, guys, I appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate everybody subscribing, and we'll catch you in the next one.